Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Bob here. Welcome to a new guide I'm putting out for Dragonball FighterZ, and this time we're doing it for a character I've been sinking a lot of time into, actually. This is not like Vegeta where I had a good grasp of the character and ran with it. No, this is the character I've been dropping serious time into. This is Vegeta. So Vegeta, he's been on my back end since about, oh god, I think like Super Saiyan 1 probably, around that ballpark. I've been using him for a good chunk of this year, actually, so it's... Yeah, I think I've probably got enough experience to talk about him. So he's helped carry me to Demon rank. He's been my back-end assist for a long time now. So I think now is as good time as any to go ahead and do this for you guys. Now I've assembled all my notes, and we can go ahead and get this shit going. Now, I do want to stress, first of all, that there are probably... Actually, no, there are definitely better players at Vegeta than I am, especially what rank that I am right now. There have also probably been some guides put out there, like by Lord Knight, that have gone into more broad detail about this character, but I'm going to list practically everything I know about this character, and this is from a lot of research I've done and a lot of practical applications. So with that, yeah, I should be able to hopefully give you guys something decent to work with. Alright, so as before with Vegeta, I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of this character first, and we'll slowly break it down as we go along. Any and all moves I mentioned here are going to be talked about at length in the top move section, and yeah, let's go ahead. So the first thing about Vegeta that I feel like is really strong, as we're talking about, absolutely, is the fact that he's probably one of the best anchors of the game. So you see that this is my current team right now: Goku Blue, Zamasu, Vegeta. He is a fantastic back-end character, and it's mostly because of his really good assist. You've probably seen legends about this assist. It's really strong, it lingers, it's a really good combo extender, it opens up a lot of avenues or combos for characters. Now, of course, back early last year, not really early, it's probably like around April or May, it got nerfed so that your opponents can now super dash through it, but it's not even a big deal if you use it well with certain characters. So I feel like that's a really strong thing. This character is just really good for that, as well as the fact that he's an awesome, sparking character. More details about that to come. He's also one... So, originally when I wrote this, he was one of the two characters in the game who had an air DP. I do believe Gogeta now has one on his flip kicks. However, Vegeta having aerial DP is still nothing short of fantastic. A good example of that would be if the AI were to super dash after guarding something. Yeah, normally when you're in the air, it's either very difficult or very impractical to try to bait a super dash. Because normally what you need to probably time like air meme or something in order to beat him out. But with Vegeta, air DP, totally free. It's really good. And again, if you block in the air, it's kind of hard to punish. So I would consider this pretty good. I don't believe this has frame 1 invincibility. I think the heavy version might. Don't quote me on that. I don't really use the DP as a reversal, but the option is there, and I think the heavy version might be frame 1. It is extremely fast, so, good stuff. This character also gets incredibly good stuff off of sparking. I'm going to go ahead and reset Goku to show us off. Yeah, Vegeta usually gets some really good stuff off of his Ki Blast, especially in this game. However, with sparking, he's able to jump cancel his Ki Blast, which means you can open up your opponent for a lot of crazy mix-ups. There's of course the universal options, but if your opponent tries to 2H you, you can do this. So there are options if they try to do some crazy stuff against you. Let me actually see if I can't get the AI to do that. Yep, I would say it's pretty solid if I'm not, if I do say so myself. And then you can dash in for a combo. This is a little more on the practical side. This is not something you usually go for, but this is just an example of the kind of stuff Vegeta can get off of his sparking. He's got some really good stuff. Most characters don't have access to an aerial Ki Blast this good, so combine that with the sparking damage and the wake-ups you get off of Final Flash, Vegeta's a really strong sparking character, if I do say so myself. So next up, he just has a very well-rounded toolkit. Now, normally with like... that's not the right button. Normally with like Goku, he has a really solid toolkit because like he has a beam, he has a universal overhead, He's got Tatsus practically. So, Goku himself does have some really good stuff, but Vegeta carries with him some even more interesting stuff. I know I just said stuff a lot because I'm low on autopilot, but let's get back into it. One of the key things is that he's got a great approaching tool in the kick here. He's got DP. Normally DPs are kind of seen as unsafe, but if you space it well, not only is it a really good combo ender, it's also like a really good, you know, you might want to chill the hell out, homie. You should probably wait a little bit. He's also got options like this. He's got ridiculous full screen kick actually. This thing is actually decent. He does have a full screen projectile, but it's kind of iffy. But all of this is just such... He's got such strong options across the board, and he's got even better mix-ups than Goku. I know what I just said. I do firmly believe that Vegeta does have better mix-ups than Goku, but Goku is universally stronger. But we'll talk about it as we go forward. But yes, Vegeta is a very solid character if you so choose to pick him up. There's seldom a time that you are left wanting with him. Except for like maybe a full-screen beam, but I feel like he'd be kind of broken at that point. Oh yes, and for all you fuckboys who love this so much, he does have a low 2L. Trying to do my instant air dashes. A little rusty at the moment. You have to forgive me, guys. I just woke up. But he does have a low 2L. And you know, considering how fast his limbs are already, this is not too shabby. Yeah, you can just get in and squeeze off a lot of mix-ups. Against like tall characters, you can get fuzzies if you so desire. The option is there, but yeah, mostly this is just really good for characters that just want to take advantage of mix-ups. So not only does he have a great toolkit, he does also have some pretty strong mix-ups. So yeah, off of like cross-ups and stuff like that, not too shabby, I would say. Definitely a character that can, again, off of the sparking options too. Yeah, no, he's really good. Something he does also have is what I like to call self-reliant combos, although other people do use this term, of course. Self-reliant as in he's able to get really solid damage by himself without much effort. An example of a character who doesn't have very self-reliant combos is Zamasu. Probably because if he wants to get higher damage combos by himself, this is kind of like his universal BMB. You only get 3800. If you end with a super, it's like 45. So not very good. But with Vegeta, full access to universal bread and butter combo. He has multiple supers in every location. He's got level 3 on the ground, and in the air, level 1s in the air, and the ground. Just really strong shit across the board. Multiple combo enders. Really self-reliant ways of getting in and starting shit. You can start combos practically anywhere with this character, actually. It's absolutely amazing. He's got stuff like slide knockdowns if you wanted to mix-ups. He's got options for everything across the board, actually. It's really, really good. The only thing he doesn't have, and this is a little ridiculous, is, you know, like... Actually, no, wait, he does have self-snapbacks. Hang on a sec. Yeah, he's got self-snapouts if you want it. It's an option if you so choose to go that route. Personally, I think Vegeta is better when he has his opponent locked in the corner, is able to just get the 50-50s off of them. But if you want the snapback mix-ups, it is there. So, it's an option. Next up is he has a very good neutral game. Like, people would say otherwise because, you know, he lacks the beams. And yeah, I'm not going to say he's better than Goku, but in terms of being a character with a good neutral game, he's up there. Partly because of the really good ki blasts, how quick they are, and again, just Gatling, as well as the fact that he has the same option in the air. He has a really good full screen command kick. He's got this, he's got this. Overall, Vegeta just has a very good neutral game, and it's backed up even further by the fact he has an air DP, so if your opponent tries to super dash recklessly, they're either going to get hit by 2H, or they're going to get hit by this. So, yeah, very good. Now, of course, to go hand in hand with the whole DP thing, he's very hard to pressure off the ground, as in when he's standing up. And, of course, this means that basically, if your opponent gets a hard knockdown of Vegeta, they have to take into the fact that he can do a DP out of it. Heavy version, I think, is either close to frame 1 or it's frame 1. I'm not going to say one way or the other because I feel like I'm going to be wrong, but he does have 3 levels of DP if you so choose to go that route. So, if I were to be placed in a knockdown scenario, this is a really strong option for you as a player. Yep, so that's a decent enough example. Yeah, your opponent really has to respect you. There's a lot of characters you can just get away with using the same mix-ups over and over again off the ground. Not the DP characters. And luckily, Vegeta is one of those characters, and probably the best one that you can use as anchor. Yeah, Teen Gohan's okay, Adult Gohan's good in anchor position. Gogeta, we've yet to see. Cooler is bad in anchor. Yeah, no, Vegeta is probably the best anchor character with the DP. At least, Yamcha, you could say he has a DP, but it's like air invulnerable. It's not like immune to everything. This is borderline immune to everything, so there, you know, fun stuff. And of course, I already mentioned this, but just to say it again, all supers have aerial options. So you have a Big Bang Kamehameha on the ground. Big Bang Kamehameha, not quite. Hang on a second, let me turn this off again. Big Bang attack on the ground. Big Bang attack in the air. It gets even better too because few characters have this, excluding like this version of Goku, but you can angle your attacks. So that's even better. You know, Final Flash in the air, Final Flash on the ground. He just has so many flexible options for super attacks that you're seldom left wanting. Like, one of the reasons I don't personally use Teen Gohan is because no aerial level 1, no aerial level 3. He's kind of stuck with a very bad level 1 on the ground and a level 3 beam if you want to dump it. But Vegeta does not have this problem. I personally feel like if Vegeta had the mix-ups of Teen Gohan, Vegeta would just be way better. But Teen Gohan does have the insane pressure and damage. So no such luck there. But Vegeta is very, very flexible with his super. So that's extremely solid. Now, of course, we talked about the good. Now we have to go on to the bad. And let me just say, Vegeta is A rank, debatably S rank in some regards. People especially said that last year when his assist was still really good. And before we got new characters like GT Goku. But Vegeta does have a lot of faults. I think puts him probably A, B rank. Somewhere in that ballpark. The first big one, actually, this is the big one. His limbs have really bad range. I mean, of course, they're generally like moderate for like the type of like beginner hero character like Goku's 2M. They're shorter than Goku's, of course, but yeah, no, this could be way better. Like compare this to Zamasu's like 2M. Yeah, that's not competing. Standing heavy. But of course, this is unfair because Zamasu did recently get hella buffed with his limb range. But for the most part, no. You really have to be relying on proper spacing, your ki blasts, instant air dashes. You have to be really relying on all these. Oh, especially this too. Well, sometimes. This especially is really good. So, in terms of that, you really have to be careful. And you have to well place your super dashes. As a result, Vegeta's not fantastic in the neutral. Well, he does have a good neutral game with his ki blasts. But with the limbs, not as great in mid-range, but that's not to say that he's bad in regards. It just means you have to play a little more tight, a little more compact. Can't play incredibly loose, but yeah. Now, of course, I did say this before, but it is very worth mentioning. All of his projectiles, all of his full screen options have low priority. That basically means that if I were to try to go up against Goku's Kamehameha Wave, I will get beaten out 9 times out of 10. And to give this a perfect example, yep, just stuffs that completely. Stuffs it completely. I think I'll actually beat it, right? Yep, beats it completely. Literally everything Vegeta has for full screen options, it is so easily beaten by a Kamehameha Wave. Or, that basically just means like everything is so low priority. That is unfortunate, but if you play it right, it's not too much of a hassle, but it is something you want to bear in mind. So don't play overly aggressively from full screen. And the last thing I do want to mention about his faults is that his assist, while it was amazing at one point in time, it does have very specific uses now. And the reason being is because it did get nerfed, basically meaning that if your opponent guards his assist, they can super dash through it, they can reflect it. Let me just go ahead and give this example. Yep, they can go through it. I think they can even start doing it on like reaction, or like even after their first hit connects, they can still super dash through it. I'm not 100% certain about that, but it is unfortunate. So it does hurt him in block string scenarios like by itself, but where I think it still shines is in other areas, and we'll talk about that more later. But just bear in mind, it's not the be-all end-all supers, or not supers, assists. It just means you have to be a little careful. Alright, so now let's just go ahead and talk about Vegeta's assist. I'm making this guide under the assumption you're going to use him as either your second or your third character. If you're using him on points, you can still refer to the key move section, and that will be very useful for you. But if you're not one of the insane IQ 9000 people, then this will probably be more relevant for you if you're choosing to pick the character up. So, Vegeta's assist. This is pretty much like the defining feature of the character. This used to make him broken. It still makes him really good. It's why a lot of people choose him, as well as the fact that he's so self-reliant on his sparking. This is why Vegeta is so loved by everyone. So, yeah, this is really good stuff. So the assist by itself, when you look at it at a glance, he comes out, just tosses out a bunch of key blasts, and just keeps him pinned down for probably like a half second, full second. Someone in that ballpark is really hard to gauge sometimes. I would say a full second. So this move is exceptionally good. The hit stun is nothing to be scoffed at. Your opponent just sits there and just eats it, and it's super easy to hit confirm this. Like, it's not like a beam like Zamasu's where you have to be like really on the ball. It's very easy to react to Vegeta's assist. It's great for combo extending. It's great for catching opponent whiffing buttons. Can extend easily. This move is really solid, like for neutral. So like if I'm playing with a blue Goku here, usually I want like Zamasu's assist for the full swinger approach. However, I can use Vegeta's assist because, like, let's say the opponent's just kind of walking around and isn't really being too mindful of their defense. You can just toss this out, and if your opponent is doing something, they're gonna get hit by it. So this is not too shabby, actually. This is really good. Yeah, it still has its faults, but dude, you can't deny that. So now a little bit of a metagame for you. So I already mentioned that if the opponent blocks this move, they have a number of options. I'm going to set this at Goku to reflect, assuming it does it correctly. Yeah, you can reflect pretty much all the hits in it. I have seen instances where people have blocked it and reflected like after the first one connects. Now this is extremely risky. So, you know, if the opponent reflects you, you're gonna be pushed out and kind of reset to neutral. But there are some fringe uses for this that are actually really good. So let me go ahead and pause them for you really fast. So first of all, I'm gonna switch to Zamasu because this is how I mostly try to calculate this. I'm gonna do these three moves. I'm gonna have the Vegeta assist come out. So what I want to do is I want to get him to actually reflect it. The reason being is because if the opponent reflects, I can punish it. Like with this, I can just wait for an opening and just... Yeah, so like let's go ahead, look at him doing that. I can go ahead and actually whip punish one of the reflects if I do see it. Not quite what I wanted. But basically the idea is that if the opponent starts hammering a reflect, you can search for the openings in the reflect. Because, you know, there is that huge opening later on in the animation that you can just freely punish and get away with basically murder. So that's fun stuff all around. If the opponent tries to super dash through it, that's where things get really fun actually. So let me go ahead and show this off really fast. Yep. So you can essentially bait your opponent into doing a super dash. Now this whole round robin table of your opponent wanting to do a super dash and reflect and you trying to bait for it. If your opponent's smart, you can get them to just chill the hell out and just sit down and just take the mix up. Just take the mix, bro. Just take the mix. So this is really strong. And super dashes are generally pretty easy to react to. Unless you're me, apparently, with just having woken up. But this is a very viable option if you get the reactions down. But if you calibrate your game plan around it, super easy. You don't even need to worry about that much. The only problem is that if you're trying to do Zamasu's Light Orb mix-ups, it's not 100% ideal for it. But, I mean, dude, come on. It's still the Vegeta assist. You can't deny that. Now, the last big thing about the Vegeta assist, and this is actually one of the reasons I have him on my team with Goku Blue and Zamasu, is that the assist itself lasts for so long, you're able to get some really unique combos off of it. One of the reasons I'm using him, one of the reasons I actually switched to Zamasu is that Blades of Judgment doesn't scale. However, the old bomb loops that Goku Black had in the corner do now. So that's one of the reasons I switched to him, as well as still having a very similar assist. Now, this is really cool because Vegeta allows you to basically get mid-screen versions of this move, so I'm gonna go ahead and show it off really fast. So this is not too bad, I would say. Vegeta allows you to basically dump 2 meters with Zamasu and go for a really hyper-extended version of the Blade's Judgment combo mid-screen. It's a little difficult, but with how big this is and how long it lasts, it allows you to do some really fun stuff. It does require a little bit of practice. I might make a separate video about this because this is very worth trying out. This is fun. So yeah, that's pretty good, I would say. It gets even easier it gets even better because if you're doing this in the corner, it is super easy to extend this. Like, I'm just barely thinking right now. I'm still almost got the extension off, so yeah, it's pretty good. Now, if you want to see what it actually looked like, so I just got 9,000 damage in the corner pretty easily using Zamasu's combos and having Vegeta as my assist. I would say that's pretty alright. Now, some other fringe uses that I've personally been finding is like with Goku Blue here. A neat thing you can do is like you can do your command grab and again meterless extension off of it. This is not thing too big. It's just a cool option that Goku Blue does have if he doesn't want to burn a vanish in case he wants to go ahead and do that. Let me see if I can actually land this. There we go. Nothing too large. You can extend the hell out of this if you want to. If you want to burn Vanish or Sparking if you so choose. But it's just a neat little option if you want to get a free mirrorless extension off of it. The option's there. But again, just for the purposes of this, yeah, good stuff. And of course, another reason that Vegeta's assist is really good is because even though you can reflect it and you can super dash through it, you can't 2H it. So for an example, if you wanted to do like Goku's left-right mix-ups with the instant transmission, you can do some cool stuff with this. Like you can easily extend it. If your opponent tries to 2H it, it's not going to happen. So yeah, if they block it, all the more power to you. If it happens to connect, then hey, you get a free combo extension if you get the timing right. So kind of a win-win either way. I mean, you can still do this with either assist, but granted, but I mean, it's the option is always there. And of course, these are just 2 character examples. That there are lots more out there, like some stuff that Cell can do really easily off of the assist. There's a lot, like there's Majin Buu's old fat toss combo and mix up. So some old stuff, but you know, really solid assist, I would say, across the board. And of course, I really want to quickly mention this again. If your opponent gets hit by this in the neutral, easy extensions. If they're overexerting themselves, just be careful you don't use it too much in the neutral because you'll probably need this in like a combo or something. But outside of that, good stuff. Okay, so next up, let's just go ahead and talk about Vegeta's key moves. These are basically when he's actually out in the open, and you either have him on point or in sparking. So a lot of good options across the board. You just have to be sure to consolidate them and use them in the correct places. That's the only tricky. That's the tricky part. So first up, DP, of course. He has a light, medium, heavy version. All of them essentially do the same function, but the light medium just kind of pops them up in the air. The medium version actually gets a sliding knockdown. So that's pretty, well, not a sliding knockdown, but it does pop on the ground so you can get some free stuff. So yeah, there is that. If I get this correct. Yeah, something like that. Again, mentioned this in the intro, but this is one of the 2 characters in the game, possibly 3 now, this is just my notes, that is able to punish super dashes while they're in the air. Very invaluable, very good neutral tool. You're probably not going to see this at like top levels, because people are smart and just spam super dash there, but at like advanced and intermediate play, this is a godsend. This is actually really good. I think you might be able to beat super dash with this as well. I'm not too certain about that. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to focus on this. So, you know, that's fun stuff. Now, of course, the big thing with DPs is that if they get blocked, they are extremely punishable. I've already shown this off a couple times because of my messed up inputs. But basically, if it gets blocked, you're essentially a dead man. Holding block, get hit by that. Holding block, get hit. Well, okay, that crosses up, but you can get hit by it. Yeah. DPs are universally, in like most fighting games, extremely unsafe. Especially, it originates from Street Fighter, where it's a complete universal reversal. That's the thing I just said. But it's a big, extreme, high risk, high reward, because while you can reset the neutral and make your opponent respect you, it's also extremely unsafe. So it's a huge give and take sort of thing. Heavy version, I'm not certain exactly what this move does. It does offer a lot of damage versus the standard versions, but there's nothing really unique about it. The only thing I can possibly think of is it might be frame 1, but I'm not too certain about that. It does go up very high, that's for sure, but there's not a lot of reason to use the heavy crusher knee versus the medium one. Medium one I feel like is the one that'll get you by the most. I imagine you'll have to frame 1 reversal a super dash in the air, so I would stick to this one. Maybe if you're coming off the ground, you can use this, but I feel like at that point, you might want to just stick to the light version. And of course, the big thing about this move is that it's actually a really good combo ender. This move is actually like probably one of the best ways you want to end combos. An example is like if you do Vanish, if I get the timing right. Go for a single ki blast, do the medium crushing knee. Really good O-key, alright damage. This actually gets even better in the corner because if you do it there, you're able to get a lot of damage. Yeah, that's pretty good, I would say. That's usually your best combo ender in the corner if you choose to go that route. So, yeah, also really good. Probably his best non-metered combo ender out in the open, I would say. The next best move I feel like Vegeta has is just 5S, your standard straight ki blast. Now this move is more meant to be less offensive and more just a poking tool. Of course, the big thing about fighters is that most things, if they connect, you can convert into an easy combo or like have a combo using Vanish. Pretty good stuff. This move is just used more for harassment. A key idea would be like toss 2 ki blasts. If your opponent super dashes through it, you can do a 2H. That's generally like the big idea for how it goes. They of course can be rapid fired. You have full control over the pace pretty much. You can start with the first one. Go 2. I think after you do 1 or 2, you have to go multiples of 2. I'm not too certain about that. You have up to 8, of course. But yeah, these are generally just meant to be somewhat low risk if you use it correctly, and decent reward if you get to the land. Yeah, like already shown, you can get a decent combo with that. It's pretty good just for poking, harassing. It's Vegeta's like best neutral tool, like undoubtedly. It's more meant to just get the opponent to just, you know, super dash. It's kind of the core idea of it. And of course, if I were to give an example of that. Yeah, that's kind of the core idea. Don't overextend with this though, because you can, again, since all these ki blasts are weaker, you can get them beaten out. So a little risky, but as long as you pace yourself, you're pretty much fine. It's not a big deal. Again, the reason this is better than this is because you can just cut yourself off at any time. So you have full control of the rhythm, so that's always really solid. Okay, so the next best move that Vegeta has is surprisingly this move, but in the air. Assuming I'll get him to super dash, of course, that'd be nice. Not yet, anyway. That would be later. So yeah, this move in the air is actually a lot better. First of all, the angle of attack is extremely aggressive. You'll usually have a good chance of hitting your opponent from up here. It comes out a lot faster than the standard one. That's like pretty much guaranteed. The big difference here is that instead of having to use the 2H to punish super dash, you're gonna have to commit to your DP. That's the big difference here. You have to be a little quick with your inputs, so it's not like you can just turn your brain off and then do a 2H by just holding down and pressing heavy. You have to commit to this. But it's not impossible to react to. Most opponents are generally geared to super dash towards an opponent if they are in the air because it's a low risk like method of getting a combo. However, again, you can make them shut the hell down using this, and if you get in the air, it is a combo. So not too bad. Vanishing in the air doesn't get you big combos, but it is there if you want to do so. And of course, next best move. Too well. I don't have to mention this too much. I feel like this is really good on Vegeta because of his naturally shorter limbs. It feels like they come out a little faster than usual. I could be imagining that, but it feels like it's really easy to pace the flow of his combos. It's hard to tell that for certain, and it feels like his 2L comes out a little bit more range than a normal characters like Goku Blues. That could just be me. I feel like I might be imagining that, but it is definitely there. In conjunction with his sparking options is one of the reasons why Vegeta is not as much as Goku, but he's a bit of a comeback machine. If you watch my recent ranked videos, pretty much anytime I'm using like a new team, like this team especially, if it came down to Vegeta, I could often take an entire game to like finding 2 characters at once using Vegeta. Sometimes up to 3-0, but that's not here or there. Just if you have a back pocket Vegeta, he's very good at securing your games. I'm just gonna leave it at that. A big thing though about the low 2L is that since it's such a short range, you kind of have to use it in block strings or use it offensively. You can't like approach with it. Yeah, because of the short range, you have to be really careful with this thing's range. It's difficult to just toss out. It's not something you're going to win a neutral with. You really want to get this in a block string after like a instant air dash medium light. Be careful about that, but if you do so, you should be pretty good. Now I know I didn't mention how bad his pokes are in general, but 2M is pretty okay. I say pretty okay. It's like the same range as Goku's 2M roughly. It's roughly there, not exactly, but it is somewhat there. Yeah, this is unfortunately like probably the best range normal attack he has, and since it is a low, you're gonna be relying on it a lot. So just keep that in mind. You can't win the neutral using this move again, but yeah, just keep that in mind. The only thing I don't know about this move is that I can't really lab this for myself, but I think because it's low profile, like Vegeta might go under some moves. It's hard to gauge that for certain. Like I know Vegeta has some weird crushing properties sometimes. This move I'm not certain, but it might be an option. I'm just gonna pause that. I'm gonna toss it out there for you guys if you want to experiment with this move. It might go under some moves, possibly. Now this one's gonna be extremely controversial. I feel like one of his top 5 moves is Fawn Flash. Actually, this might seem asinine because it's a level 3. People use it as a reversal, but there are a lot of uses for this move. So first of all, a lot of good benefits across the board. First of all, the ground version, aerial version. Immediately to me, one of the best level 3s in the game off of that alone. That's such a rare trait you actually find in this game. Being able to have multiple versions of a super. Now recently this move actually got hella buffed. It used to have a problem with getting sliding knockdown in the air. That is no longer the case. You can get this move to always give you sliding knockdown on the ground or in the air. So basically if you did this move at the end of a combo in the air, your opponent will be able to tech out of it pretty quickly. So no level 3 wake ups. However, with the recent buff, it is now extremely good at that. So good shit. Let me go ahead and show us off real fast. And just take him all the way to the floor, and he's hard knocked down. Again, it used to be the case that up there, before like the February patch I think it was in, or March, it's one of those 2 dates, the opponent would tech out early, so it was kind of bad using in the air, but it now, not so much. Now, one fringe use I do like about this move is that most level 3s are extremely unsafe on block, but since Fawn Flash is a beam, I feel like this move is a little bit inherently safer than usual because of the, chunky hitbox. It's a beam, so your opponent has to do specific things to counter it, like hold reflect, super dash towards you, and get an incomplete combo that way. Vanish behind you, that's a big one for me. I frequently end up in a situation of doing so. Fun stuff. But yeah, no. Doing this up close as a reversal, very risky, but because it is a projectile with multiple hits, I feel like this has slightly more levels of safety than a normal, level 3. It's an idea. I just want to toss it out there. You're not guaranteed to be dead. Just, tossing it out there. Because this move has a giant chunky ass hitbox, it's very difficult to actually drop it in a combo. Like, I could do a combo where the opponent ends up super low below me, and I can still get to slam. Like, let me give you an example actually. Yeah, Goku's a little bit below me right now, but it's still gonna connect because of the giant, you know, the giant monster's hitbox. You can even be a little bit above your opponent, and there's still a chance they'll connect. Like, look at that. Goku is just barely out of the hitbox's range. So, yeah, this move is really strong. Yeah, I feel like this might be one of the best level 3s in the game. You know, call it a hunch. And another big thing, this is a little bit smaller though, but since Vegeta is frequently used as an anchor character, his sparking meter gain is actually really strong. So very frequently you'll find yourself like not having enough meter for a level 3, but then suddenly you'll activate sparking and oh hey, look, I have enough meter to do the level 3 right now. So I'm gonna spend a minute to try to get this as a visual. Yeah, look at that. I started with 1 bar and I went to 3 pretty quickly. That's not too shabby. It's little things like that just add up to make this Final Flash actually a really strong level 3. Best of the game, that's debatable, but I feel like with its flexibility and the fact that, you know, when you do it in a corner, your opponent wakes up like right in front of you. Let me just actually go ahead and do this. It's not like one of those super level 3s where, like Bardock, it'll push you far away from your opponent. You're right in front of them, so that's good. That's really strong. Alright, next up, I don't find myself using these moves as much as you'd probably expect as, like, the Ki Blast from full screen, but we're going to talk about the dash kicks. These moves are not bad. Each of them has their own unique sort of gimmicks in their own way. It's a little difficult to explain offhand, but I'll just go ahead and try to, like, go through them. So first of all is the light version. Light version travels near full screen. It's kind of like a high priority limb of some kind. It's not really great. I mean, it can be blocked. However, a unique thing about this move is that when it is blocked, Vegeta's actually popped up in front of and above your opponent. So you can pester them with this move if it gets blocked. Another thing you can do is like do that, get in, and you have options. I'm not gonna say one way or the other. This move is actually like great. I've heard this has extremely high priority over other like buttons in the game, but it's definitely an option. It is one of your good approaching tools. Now another weird move that he has is the medium version. Normally with like strength of moves, you'd get like a weak version of a sort of strong version and a very strong version, right? Not with this move. The medium version is something else entirely. This is nuts. So I guess I should show the first thing off about this move. It gets you a wall bounce, which is very good for your combo game. Assuming I can get this connect. Yeah, this is very good for your combo game. If you're trying to get self snap outs, this is generally what you try to go for. I cannot get that medium to connect into a jump cancel. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. This is really good for combo extensions. If you're doing a corner, it'd probably look like this. Something marginally equivalent to that. Sorry, I'm really rusty right now. I haven't been playing in a couple weeks, but yeah, the medium version is okay. It's got also one more sort of fringe use that I sometimes use. So when you get your opponent to block this, the last hit actually crosses up to the opponent, and this can do some weird stuff. If you're trying to get some cheese damage, one thing I like doing is ripping Vanish before you go to your opponent to teleport to the other side. However, if you go through the other side, you can time it just so that you pop up before you came through the other side. So you can kind of get like a get out left right mix up using this if you so choose. This is ideal, but hey, it's an option. You know, left right mix ups are always good, especially in this game. So it's not the worst thing in the world. If you cover yourself with assists, you can also combo extend block screens using it. So yeah, it's always good. Now the heavy version is nuts. The heavy version is a straight up like full screen move, extremely fast. Literally, if you do this from anywhere on the screen, you'll connect. Bad things. This move is very like space dependent if you want to get the combo extensions. For example, like apparently you can extend combos if you rip it deep. Or rip it shallow, I guess the more correct one right now. Like, you can do that. It's not impossible, but more often than not, you probably won't be able to kick it from that. From close in, you're way too far away to get anything else. So, unfortunate. Mid-range, yeah, it's okay. You can probably actually get a 2-home off of that now that I think about it. I never use this move, so that's why I'm a little unfamiliar with it, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, there are worse heavy versions of the moves you can have, like Vegeto's heavy kicks that no one uses, but yeah, no, it is definitely a full screen option if you want to approach. However, generally you don't want to do that if you have Vanish, or especially Sparking Vanish. Like, that's generally like the big one. Now, I just want to talk about the cons for each of these moves. There are a few, unfortunately. So, the light kick, there's not much to be really had by doing this. If you get it, you're going to have to spend meter to keep it safe regardless. You do get yourself put into a really neat position. If your opponent tries to super dash you, you can DP. If your opponent tries to 2H you can do this. But I feel like both of these rely on you knowing what your opponent's going to do. And if they just like turtle up, then yeah, you can do that. But I feel like that's just more risky than anything else, you know? So you're not cracking your opponent open. It is just like an approaching tool that I feel like puts you more in a bad spot than anything else. But it is there regardless. The medium version is a little unsafe if you rip it close. You can get I think you can even hit by a medium after that, actually, not thinking about it. I'm gonna go test it out. Yeah, I was holding block there and it's still connected. That is unsafe. However, if you rip this like point blank, you can get this to be safe against like light jabs. If your opponent has like shorter limbs or something, like we do this. So if the opponent doesn't know how to match up against Vegeta, you can get away with some stuff. It's not horrible. They have to rip that medium in order for it to work. If you use an assist, you can cover yourself. It's just this move has like no real applications, and it's not really good for any one thing in particular. So dicey. And the heavy version rips meter, which unfortunately is something you kind of want. So there is that. Actually, well, with punish, I guess, if they try to hit you with the medium, I suppose it is a thing. So, oh yeah, also a big thing. I completely forgot to talk about this. Actually, holy shit! Every one of these moves has an aerial version, which is really good. You have this in the air, you have this in the air, and you have this in the air if you're feeling low XD random for some odd reason. Actually, the medium kicks are a decent combo ender. They used to be used by a lot by people back in like the early days of this game. It's still not bad. If you want to go into like a Final Flash ender or like a super ender in the air, it's pretty easy. You generally, if you want to go for like a non-metered ender, you want to go with this into this. But in terms of like an easy mode combo, this is not bad. Yeah, there is that. Not great, not horrible, but the option is there at least. There are characters in this game who would kill to have an easy damage ender like that. Goku doesn't have something great like that, except for like Tatsu's, but you know, there is that. So yeah, the dash kicks are not bad. They're not great. They're no lariat. They're no wacky bullshit that like hell even Zamasu with his sword. They're no command grab, but each of them is still usable and they're enough in their own right that you can get away with doing stuff. Coming upon the end here, boys. Yeah, Vegeta is more of a minimalist character, so you're not going to get as many good moves as you'd expect, but they're still good if you use them right. So the next one I had to talk about is the Ki Blast Volley. This move should 100% be used sparingly. This move has a lot of flaws. However, it is a full screen rapid fire option, so it does have that going for it. So first of all, I don't have to mention this. If you're going up against an opponent and they do something, you can catch him with this. This is super easy to confirm into advantage. You have like 1 trillion years to do it, so it does have that going for it. The damage you can get off of it is not too bad. Actually, the move by itself actually does pretty good damage. 1300 for a special attack is not too shabby. It actually does more than a Kamehameha Wave. To my knowledge. Let me actually test that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more. I want to say the Kamehameha does 1000 even. So, pretty good. A cool thing about this move, however, is that if your opponent's blocking it, it 100% locks them down. So, this is one of the reasons why you'd want to use it over, like, your standard Ki Blast, if you want to. Your opponent can end up reflecting that, and it can also super... The AI isn't going to super dash immediately, but you can do it. However, with this move, you can lock it down permanently. Not permanently, like during the hits, the block stun. This is also like a true block string with Vanish, so your opponent can't reflect out of it, so that's really good. This move, if you land it, it is pretty good. However, there's a lot of issues with this move, of course. Of course there is. So, the big one is if your opponent's jumping, they're going to kill you if you use it. Let me just go ahead and give a brief example, if I can get this to actually work correctly. Yeah, that's the big issue. If your opponent is above you and you rip it, you're kind of dead. Because, you know, Vegeta is completely locked to that move. If I were to do it myself, like, I can't do anything. I can't even, like... If it's whiffing the opponent, I can't manage. I'm just stuck there, so... Yeah, unfortunate. You can't even really rip super at the start of it, so you can't even do that much. Yeah, it's just not good. If your opponent's above you, you're dead. But again, if you are close up, it is extremely easy to go into a bunch of stuff. Like you can call an assist, you can vanish very easily for like a combo, for like a mix-up. Yeah, very easy stuff. So that is strong. This move is worth contemplating once or twice a match. Don't abuse it though. Like don't be like me and still using it from full screen. Your opponent's probably going to be trying to super dash at you from over there. They might be ripping a beam. It'll lose to all of that. But this move is pretty quick. Pretty quick. It is slightly faster than the Kamehameha wave. So there is that. Like you saw Goku trying to rip the Kamehameha wave there. It does beat it cleanly. So it has fringe uses. I would say overall this is more risk than it's worth. It's not going to open your opponent up. It's not going to magically put you in a huge plus frame scenario. But however, this move is fast enough and locks him down long enough that if you so choose, the option is there. Also, never use this version by itself with Vegeta. It's not worth it. Yeah, in this scenario, your opponent's probably jumping as well, and it'll whiff, and that's even worse. So, yeah, no, that's bad. And last but not least, for its key moves, jumping medium and jumping heavy. These two moves have actually pretty good hitboxes, in my opinion. The heavy version has a really good downward hitbox. If I can get its snare dash, it'd be nice. There we go. Heavy version has a nice downward hitbox. It's not too bad. I feel like if I use this move, it reaches low enough and high enough in front of him at the same time that I never had to worry about this whiffing. The medium version feels like it's got a little bit less reach. You can be too high from your opponent to get this to whiff. But overall though, this is like not too bad to hit confirm into or block confirm into like a block string. So not too shabby. This move is pretty good. As you can see, you gotta be careful though about using the dive kick, which trust me, no one ever uses dive kick. It's just not worth it. But yeah, no, I feel like these moves are very good. If you use them in a corner, I feel like it'll also beat some up tech situations if you're quick enough. Yeah, this is just good in general. Also, the heavy version recovers fast enough if you whiff it that if your opponent down techs, yeah, you can just go for another one. So, really good stuff. The heavy version is also plus on block as usual. And if your opponent is expecting you to go into a low, you can go into another one. So yeah, good option. Okay, so with all those covered, we can actually move on to combos, and Combo Town is where Vegeta actually thrives. First of all, I'm not the best with combos, obviously, as you've been seeing me drop a few combos here and there in this tutorial so far because I'm rusty right now. But there is a lot of stuff Vegeta has access to. I'm going to link really quickly to a bunch of really strong combo videos I've been seeing for his character and or sparking nonsense he has. So as you know, he can dash cancel his standard special attack. Strong stuff all across the board. So the first thing to talk about is combos. He has access to the Universal Brown Bar combo, of course. That basically means that he can go this usual route. He has access to that, and pretty much everything he has complements the Universal Brown Butter perfectly. Now, when I say that, what I specifically mean is that since all of them all the special kicks have their own versions in the air, as well as the fact that you have literally everything Vegeta has that you can do on the ground, you can do in the air. So you have a lot of flexibility. You can end with this, you can end with the barrage, you can end with the DP, you can end with the super, you can end with level 3. There is so much flexibility Vegeta has for his combos all at the same time that it's actually kind of incredible. You're never short for an option for what you want to do. He does also have restand options off of the 5H. I haven't practiced this long enough to have this down pat, but it is doable. It is tricky, but if with enough practice, you can do it. Oh yeah, and also since he has so many options off his universal bread and butter, that also means that he has lots of options off of Vanish, and that kind of flexibility for a Vanish combo is usually pretty good. Vanish usually scales your combo heavily and guts you a lot of options, so you kind of tied then to whatever your character has at that moment. But considering Vegeta has a lot of special attacks and also super attacks, yeah, no, his Vanish options are nothing short of really incredible. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about these both solo and with combos, I'm going to talk about these with both solo and assist combos. So this is also assuming that like you get snapped in by your opponent and you have to use them early, so you can do some fun stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is the ender where you use the Shoryuken. Basically, it's a pretty good strong option if you want to save meter and you want to keep your opponent close to you. What you do is you use the one special attack, go into medium, and because of the damage, you get sliding knockdown. Pretty good stuff. Well, not really like a full sliding knockdown, you get hard knockdown, so your opponent's forced to wake up in a certain way. It's not great, but I'd say it's a little bit better than doing the universal bread and butter of just like the standard stuff. Now there is a fancy version of the universal bread and butter combo actually. I've done this a few times. It's a little difficult to do online, but a lot of people I've seen Hook and God use this a lot actually. Basically you can kind of extend the damage off of the universal combo a little bit. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. There it is. So that's a slightly modified version of the combo you can do. Basically what happens is the jump 2H has enough forward momentum that you can kind of extend it a little bit. You're supposed to be able to get a slight knockdown off of it, but I'm not too certain what the rules for that are, so you have to take my word for it. That is a pretty good combo ender. I don't know exactly what the rules for that one are. It's kind of bizarre, but you know, there is that. Actually, wait, I might know what it is actually. Hang on a sec. There it is. Okay, you're supposed to be high enough by using the air blast barrage in the air at the end of the combo before you go into the knockdown. Okay, so that was it. It's a little tricky to do with getting the timing for the 2H into the light, but it's not impossible, so there is that. Now in the corner, there's ways you can get some pretty sick damage. The easy one that's actually pretty high damage is one I've shown off before. You can actually, normally with like the air key blast, you can get like 2 or 4 in the open if you want to go for a certain ender, but in the corner, you get some pretty dope shit. Let me go ahead and show this off. Yep, not too shabby. You can get a full 6 to 8 key blasts off in the corner. It looks like it tops up 5, but yeah, all those are guaranteed in the corner if you go for the DP ender. So that's really strong wake up. That's really good high above average damage for a combo in the corner. Well, not above average, but for a universal bread and butter combo with no extensions, I would say it's not too shabby, honestly. If I have better timing with my Zamasu assist, I can get a re-pop up combo and then go further, but I'm not gonna risk spending 5 minutes doing that, so maybe not right now. Now actually there is 2 different variations of the Vanish ender you want to go for if you want to go for damage or sliding knockdown. So I've already shown this one off, the one where you basically do the DP in order to get the good knockdown as well as above average damage. That's not too bad. However, if you want to if you want to burn a little bit meter for extra damage as well as possibly securing a kill, there is a different version of the combo you can go for. So that's DP version. This one. 2800, not too shabby. So basically there's like a couple different, from what I've personally observed and used in matches, there's two different like main combo enders you want to go for. The one that ends in this, and also this version that goes to the Big Bang attack, or Final Flash if you so choose. This move at the end of a combo actually does some pretty solid damage. Like 1300 again is nothing to scoff at. That's more I think than the DP itself. More than the universal combo. The blast barrage in the air is actually really damaging. This move is really solid if you want to go for like a decent combo ender. Now the problem here with using this move, granted you are doing 5k damage, which is good. You do lose your wake up however, which is slightly unfortunate, but not the end of the world. If you need to get that raw damage to cash out someone, you can. Again, this is solo. Like, there are some characters in the game who can't easily get a solo 5k combo. I know for Gotenks would certainly kill to have one like this, so yeah, pretty good stuff I would say. Now there is that. You can also again end this with a Final Flash if you so choose for pretty sick damage. Yeah, 6k for that much is not too bad. And so I started with 3 meters and it only took me down to 1. So that was around what, like 1 3/4 bars for overall like expenditure. That's pretty sick. That's not too bad, dude. I would absolutely take that. Now, if you want to get really fancy and you really want to push your execution without sparking, you can combine the advanced universal BNB combo with what I just did, and you get something like this. Oh, yes, this is gonna do a grip of damage. 6480. That's pretty good. With sparking, I've gotten this to do close to like 7k, if not above that. So yeah, no, Vegeta, considering that he's not really meant to be like a meter dump character, not like, you know, Zamasu or how Black used to be. No, he just got to a lot of damage naturally, and that is not too shabby. In fact, with sparking, let's go see how far that goes. Oh yeah, 7400 right there. I actually thought I was gonna drop that, but thanks to the Final Flash's chunky hitbox, nah, not really. That was yeah, that was pretty good. That also took me like probably 10 attempts because I'm a little rusty and getting the jump 2H is kind of tricky, but yeah, fun stuff. So as you can see, yeah, no, across the board, Vegeta has extremely solid combos. That's actually another one of the reasons why he's so good as an anchor is because he doesn't have to rely on assist to get big ass damage. Like, you just saw me get 7500 damage solo with sparking. So yeah, that's really good. Yeah, no, this character is extremely solid by himself. Again, once you bypass like the tiny limbs, you're pretty much clear. Now for this section, I'm going to actually talk about some teams that you can easily build around Vegeta. Vegeta is one of those characters that you can kind of just plop him into a lot of teams and it'll definitely benefit like by default because he works so well with the universal bread and butter combo that you don't even really need to think too much about how you do this. Like, look at this, I'm just kind of farting around and I already got like a good combo with Goku and I dropped that, so yeah, there's that. But some teams benefit really strongly from Vegeta being in the back row. Now with this, we can just go ahead and roll out some fun stuff, shall we? So the one I mentioned earlier is of course the one I'm running right now. Zamasu gets heavy damage extensions off the Blaze of Judgment combo. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to do that, but that is a good example of how you can extend shit with them, or if you want to actually go for a proper combo. I even dropped that, I still got this to do some good damage. Zamasu gets heavy use out of Vegeta's assist. Anytime on the screen, usually he has to wait until he's in the combo in the corner to get Blades of Judgment. Nah, he got it perfectly easily here. Back in the day, he was really handy at helping Goku Black extend bomb loops in the corner using his assist. Again, I showed this off earlier, but you have an easy extension to Goku's command grab. It's great if you want to go for that. It's not a terrible option. Actually, I might be able to get some bigger stuff off of it if I use Vanish. Let me try it really fast. $3,400 for a sliding knockdown, 1 bar. I would say it's not too shabby. That actually took me a few times to land. I was kind of just experimenting. So yeah, more easy stuff he can easily do for a lot of combos. You can also get easy dive kick extensions with Goku Blue in a corner. This used to apply to Black as well, but you can still do it with him just as easily. Another example is Majin Buu used to heavily rely on him actually for the Fat Toss mix-up. There used to be an old thing. Buu did have it removed, but apparently people are finding ways to use him without it. So there was that, I guess. Now, an interesting situation is actually when Vegeta is tagged in. There are assists that actually do help him out. Key among them being, you know, Goku himself. Because, like, if you do his assist, it completely covers for Vegeta's problem where, you know, he doesn't really have anything durable from full screen. This actually does help him out immensely if you're using Vegeta. So, Goku does actually help out his rival pretty well in that regard, I would say. Kid Buu also does help a lot with his pressure. Vegeta doesn't really have a lot of issues with pressure by himself, but doesn't have anything like hugely plus frames. Kid Buu just completely nullifies that. So, yeah, if you're using Kid Buu, those two get along extremely well, as well as Kid Buu benefiting hugely from Vegeta's assist on top of that. And of course, there is Zama's assist on top of the fact that, you know, it's the same as Goku's Kamehameha Wave, essentially. It has a much taller hitbox. It doesn't linger as long though, but it does still clear a path for you if you're trying to go in, as well as the fact that Vegeta does help extend Blades of Judgment combos pretty well. I guess I didn't really talk about this sooner, but one thing I really want to talk about is a huge thing that I keep doing that. A huge thing that Vegeta does for various teams. Extremely easy ways to cash out damage on a 6M. I don't use this a lot personally because I usually just go for its overheads, but if you are balls deep in a block string, you can do this in order to get for your combo. So for example, the assist is 8 hits, 9 hits. So that's pretty solid, I would say. He's an easy way of getting damage boost on 6M, much like Yamcha's assist. So yeah, no, he also does bolster mix-ups a little bit, not greatly, because like I think these are like 24 frames. Yeah, so they are reactable, but if they go for reflects or they try to hit you, you can potentially mess them up. So yeah, the only problem with it is that Vegeta's assist does come out a bit slowly, so you have to time it appropriately, but aside from that, you're pretty much fine. Now there's point characters that Vegeta does benefit from in terms of like their assist is of course Bardock, because the lariats are really fast and it helps him immensely, as well as the fact that Vegeta benefits Bardock immensely. 16 actually used to be like best friends with Vegeta because the assist would help out the dunk combos immensely. The dunk combos have gotten nerfed, so it's whatever, but it's still there. GT Goku, I don't really need to explain that one too much. And Piccolo, because Hellzone Grenade does insane shit in the corner. Yeah, just watch Hookangod playing his team, and you'll pretty much see what I mean. He's a really good Vegeta player, I would say. Now, if you want a really strong player out there who's competitive and uses Vegeta, and you want reference material to work with, since Vegeta was literally everywhere last year, and his assist was so good, and he's still such a strong character by himself, you'll find tons of good players out there right now who are still using this character. I think Shanks is using him. I'm not too certain about that. Hookangod definitely uses him. You can probably find Sonic Fox using him here and there, depending. He's never... Yeah, no, Vegeta is usually in vogue with a lot of characters. There's a lot of people who do utilize him for his assist as well as his, you know, just his sheer priority. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about sparking. Let's go ahead and tag Goku back in so we're not getting into too easy combo territory. So Vegeta and sparking is absolutely terrifying. There's of course the universal extensions that you're able to get, like doing 6M into a easy combo extension, so that's immediately a great bolster to his damage, because that basically means that if your opponent doesn't have good reactions, they have to guess between this as a launcher and this is a launcher. So that's really, really good by itself. And of course, there is the option to just hold Vanish to approach your opponent. If they try to 2H mindlessly, you can just hold the Vanish and just mix up your approach, so that's really terrifying. You can also do some crazy shit like just dashing over them. I think you have to be a little late. You have to do this early into your advantage, however. Like, this isn't extremely easy to do, but you can do this. Actually, it seems to be more consistent on Goku's backside of his front. That's kind of weird. Now, something I somehow to keep doing in my damn rank videos is dodging a Vegeta file flash with with a teleport and then punishing him. That's happened twice so far. That's hilarious. Now, there are a lot of really good, you know, sparking block string options for Vegeta. I'm just going to feed you some. There have been some found by players that are way better than me, so by all means, do research on your own for this stuff. But for the basic shit, here's some good stuff. Block string, 5SS, instant air dash, and do a 50-50. So yeah, those are two options I just presented right there. You can go for an instant air dash overhead or an instant air dash empty into low. Basically that means that, sorry, my inputs with this are really sloppy. Basically you do 5SS into an instant air dash overhead. Again, you can just do one and do the input. You can do multiples and then go into it. And of course there's the option you can do it in the air. This is where it gets really fun. 5S into jump 5S. This beats 2H in case your opponent gets rambunctious and is trying to 2H your approach. So that's immediately a really strong approaching option right there. Yep, just immediately do that in the plus frames. Yeah, I would say that's pretty decent. And if you want an easy lockdown one, what I recommend is doing a block string with Vegeta. Yeah, that's terrifying. Basically doing the 236S volley into a empty vanish and going for either an overhead or holding and going for a low. That's not a low. There we go. So those are really strong options across the board. If your opponent tries to preemptively 2H you, you can go for various options. Again, like you have like multiple jump cancel / air dash cancels with Vegeta. Like you can do this easily. That's really solid. Your opponent has to just universally really be careful against sparking Vegeta. This is actually really gross. I also didn't know that training mode now allows you permanent sparking to just practice this. That's a new one. I think they recently introduced that as a patch or something. Yeah, this is on top of all the crazy ass meter gain that Vegeta has like this, so this is really good. The only problem is that, you know, like you're seeing from me, this is a little high execution, so it's a little difficult to maintain an offensive pressure. Oh wait, you can also do that. That's really solid. Yeah, no, Vegeta is just able to pick apart opponents pretty easily. You can do this into a 50-50 to mix up your opponent. You can also do this if you think they're going to do a 2H. You can do this into a DP if you think they're going to super dash. Sky's the limit with the sparking setup, really. So the last thing I want to talk about is Vegeta as an anchor versus Goku, because I feel like this is a little contested. Overall, I feel like Goku is a better anchor than Vegeta, but I feel like both have extremely good assets that really make them worth considering. So on Vegeta's end, he has really good mix-ups. Naturally, low 2L. Really fast overheads, really strong overheads actually. He's able to get, unlike Goku also, he's able to get level 3 Oki in the corner, which sadly if you're a Goku player, you might also be frothing at the mouth because, God, I wish he had that. Goku would be legitimately so much better if he had the easy access to his level 3, just plopping the opponent down in the corner without switching sides. There's a lot of people I know who would kill to have that, unless you're a Yamcha player, in which case you kind of have that already, but you know, details. I also feel like Vegeta has slightly easier and better baiting tools because of this. I've already mentioned the crazy rush down you have with this, as well as being able to bait 2H with Ki Blast easily. So yeah, that's really solid. He has DP as well. Goku does not have a DP, contrary to what some people might believe. Yeah, Vegeta is able to disrespect a lot of wake-up scenarios, and, you know, he's got the notoriously good assist. However, Goku, yeah, he's got the beams. He's got... His combos actually get you, like, extremely easily sliding knockdowns. So yeah, easy ass sliding knockdowns. Vegeta, even though he does have a lot of flexibility with his combos, he doesn't have as immediate access to sliding knockdowns. Actually, I think the heavy version of this might give you a sliding knockdown. That might be the big difference. Because the medium version unfortunately does not. It causes like a small flop stun. It's okay, but easier sliding knockdown with a Dragon Fist because, you know, go figure, huh? He's also got crazy ass solo sparking routes. I can't do them, but like he's got this shit. If I have marginally better execution, you might be able to get better examples out of this, but basically I've seen people do this kind of combo where he can cross like 8500 by himself. Vegeta by himself, I got him to do 7500. Goku can eclipse that with his solo sparking, so yeah, that's absolutely goddamn horrifying. He's got bigger limbs than Vegeta, like 5M, 2M, 5H. I feel like is a bigger reach. His crouch jab has better reach than the low 2L that Vegeta has. This is better reach, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, no. And notorious for the solo comebacks. The solo comebacks with Goku is so goddamn easy, partly because of this. Like, look at that. That's so easy to do, and if the beam connects at any point, it'll not only does it beat Ki Blast, but it also guarantees like sliding knockdown. So Goku is more notorious for the sparking comeback than Vegeta is. Now, in terms of what they have in common, both have super easy self-reliant combos. I don't think I need to mention that too much, so far I've shown you off. Both have some of the best assists in the entire game because where Vegeta has this, Goku has the beam. People covet the beam. People will sometimes run Goku on back just because of the beam. I'm not even kidding about that. It's actually amazing. Despite what I've said, I feel like both have a better than average 2M. Like, I think it's something about like the tip range of Vegeta's 2M that feels like it's got slightly more range than usual, and now it'll sometimes connect. Goku has the, as people are calling it, the protagonist 2M, I guess it's being called now. Both have pretty good solid 2Ms. I would totally say that. Yeah. I feel like ultimately, if you're gonna pick an anchor, at this point in time, it's more like what assist do you want to use. But Goku overall is the better anchor, I feel. His assist doesn't get you as many cool combos as Vegeta does, but it almost does. So it's just slightly out of that reach. But it is still a beam. It has a lot of good properties. Broly benefits greatly from it. Zamasu can still use it greatly to a really good effect. It controls the neutral. It's fast. Yeah, as well as, you know, all the sparking comebacks and better limbs than Vegeta. I feel like Goku is slightly better at being a sparking comeback character, but there's no reason why you should not sleep on Vegeta whatsoever. So, absolutely put time into both of them if you can. They're both really, really good. Hell, run both of them on a team. Screw it. Why not? Just, like, get the rivals on the back end, and you're going to get yourself some good results. Alright, hope you guys learned a thing or two. I'm sorry this has been a little exhaustive. I've gone over literally everything I know about Vegeta as a character in this game. It's a lot to take in, I'm aware, but I will leave time codes down below, although you probably already noticed that if you're at the end of the video, not that I expect anyone to get this far. Yeah, so, good shit. See you guys later.